the story of Amalur was that there were 12 dragons and they were coming down, and the game started your like newbie experience. When you created your character, you were landed in the middle of a dragon fight. And a dragon wasn't like a traditional dragon like lizard with wings and 4 legs. Dragons always have 4 legs and then 2 wings. It's a rule. It's a wyvern if there's only 2 back legs and wings. Just clarifying that we're on the same page. Okay. So, but this was not a classic dragon. It was like this crazy creature that you couldn't quite describe, but they were all kind of like these fractured gods. Actually, Scott, you'd be a better person to kind of talk about the dragon story. But you were dropped into this dragon fight and you had to push back and hopefully defeat it. And then you were dropped into your newbie zone. And then within the first 6 months, a new dragon would come from space and land. And the entire server would have to come together to fight back against it. But what were these dragons, Scott?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
What were the dragons? Like, what did they mean? Why were there dragons coming to Amalur?
If memory serves, they were all in service to the great dragon, Tiamat, who would be the final world boss. And they each represented essentially the Zodiac, although that became a bit cliche. Mm-hmm. But I do remember them being, I remember the technical challenge of trying to put together something that big. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus had done it, and a few other games like God of War had mimicked big bosses like that. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely a server-wide event. And I think it came off of an old EverQuest idea a long time ago. I wasn't a big EverQuest player, but I remember hearing the legends of like, they put like a land out in the distance and they tell the servers, until you all build the bridge, you can't get to that land. So the whole server would have to come together and do these events to eventually get the bridge, and then it would open up this new land. It was kind of riffing off of that idea that the whole server needed to come together for these giant events, and the dragons were sort of the land, where they were
of the universe, the solar system.
Universe. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And again, the scope of everything in this game was was sometimes beyond feasibility, and yet they pulled it off.
We had grand ideas.
Well, but every time we'd have a grander idea, they'd pull it off, and we'd have to make an even grander one.
Well, the second dragon, the first real one, not the tutorial dragon, because we decided to make the tutorial that dragon fight. But the second dragon that you face was one, I think it was based off of Taurus, and you had to climb on its back. And so we had to come up with a piece of terrain that moved, that then people could climb on top, that could hold like 150 people. And we did it. It was insane. I think it was Mike Wachowski that like finally got it up and running.
I'm sure. That guy was a genius.
Oh my goodness. He was absolutely, we loved Mike so much. But
gone too soon. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Mike. But here, look at, this is what it looked like in engine. Just
in pre-2000, what, 11? Right,
this
right
is, this is 2010, 2011.
Amazing.
In Unreal 3. We did some bad things with that engine, but we made it absolutely beautiful. Like, look at this. This is Jotun Hessen Underground.
So cool.
So cool. There was an EverQuest zone, actually, the Dark Elf zone, that was like in underground and in caves. And I love that we brought that forth. I think part of it was that, EverQuest had gone, again, like WoW did, the wrong direction, that, we wanted to bring some of that magic back in the gameplay. Here's that dam.
Hey, Reese, I can answer that question in that we didn't know yet. We were doing everything we can, technically. How do you keep the servers from coming to a halt? We just dreamed it, and then the engineers magically made it happen.
Yes, Reese's question is, how would you build the whole? How would the whole server participate without servers coming to a halt? Then everyone builds the infrastructure and supply line required, so a smaller cadre of the best competence could do the fight. Well, there was, and with those server battles, it wasn't just combat. It was sometimes, like you're saying, a supply line, and like getting those, building the weapons, or working together to build the giant weapon that would be aimed at the dragon as it was coming in from space. And yes, Neriak was the EverQuest zone. Thank you so much for helping me remember my aging brain. And Tozev says one lore guy dropped that Valiance was going to get destroyed. Yep, maybe. That was one of the options.
You could save it also.
Yeah, you could totally save it.
If memory serves, they were all in service to the great dragon Tiamat, who would be the final world boss.
This time, you will remember the old truths. This time, you will